Alright, today I'll be making a wave kind of beat, and it's more of like the next single that I want to do. And I'm gonna freestyle on this production. I'm just gonna resample, use my synths, use my presets. So it's gonna be exciting because it's gonna be at the top of my head, just producing music and the music that I like. It's not gonna be a lot of mixing today, but it's really a lot of arranging. It's been a while since I created any music, ever since I've been so overloaded with content. So today is the day. And pardon me if this is gonna be super experimental, because this kind of series that I'm doing is gonna be a lot of like creative work. There's a lot of indecisions and decisions going on in my production process.
Just vibes. At this point in time, I'm trying to find a nice sample to play with, something to experiment with. Next, I just drag it into Machine and, make sure I open up the sampler and start stretching it. Making sure that the tempo is the right tempo, and then I start to slice it into a new group. This is the fun part, to be honest, because I get to really slice it and just play around with the sample. I kind of like to draw a pattern first, and with this pattern itself, I actually made the sample to a lower pitch. It sounds more dark. There's a lot of experimentation here. And I played with another pattern arrangement to really arrange my samples in a nicer and more calm way. This is where I get the vibe of the song. Next, I just put it into Logic itself and make sure it's an audio file, because I like to mangle with audio files most. I was just cutting out the lower ends so that later when I put in the bass, I don't have to actually clean up a lot of audio. And then just put in a little bit of like reverb so that I get a sense of how the sample is working towards the main track. I added a bit of saturation here with the slick EQ, just to bring out some of the mids, give a bit of character. And then the next thing I want to do was to search for a nice kind of like ARP or like a lead. So just to play around with certain presets that I have before this. It's really about testing the sounds that I have and making sure I'm getting the vibe before I even nail down the process of MIDI editing. Once I get something, I added a reverb. Just to dilute the sound a little bit, making sure that the sound is a lot more atmospheric. This is really at the top of my head, where I just randomly record notes in key, process it later to make it more ambient. Now I use a delay so that it gives a little bit more tilt towards the synth that I'm using. So it's really a nice process to find that ambient sound when it comes to sequencing my synths. At this point, I just wanted something to bounce with the ambient lids. Again, it's all about experimenting with the presets that I made before this. Sound selection is very important. Like knowing what frequencies and what kind of octave you're going to put into your arrangement really makes a lot of difference. So I really take some time to explore the sounds that I have and sequence the kind of melodies that I want. kind of spice up the main melody using a gating plugin called the LX Hilton. You can hear the bounce and the difference of the counter melodies between the main atmospheric pads or leads with this bounce of the melody. And then when it comes to drums, it's all on splice. I'm just trying to find something that's more like a trap kind of kick. Honestly, this process is what takes a lot of time. Like, I have to find the perfect sound that fits in this whole arrangement. And to be honest, when it comes to the drums, I like the melody to dictate the drums that I have. I usually like to work with the melodies first and then drums come in second. That way that your drums can be part of the mood of your melody. The kicks is where I get most of my tempo first. I wanted to add another layer of snare just to dequantize a little bit, giving a bit more bounce to the whole drum sequencing. I guess that's very important. Sometimes you don't have to be on grid to make a really nice kind of drum pattern. At this point, I get an idea of the track already. Now trying to find the hi-hats just to give a little bit more groove. Even so, I'm thinking of not doing everything on grid and everything on time. Even the hi-hats, I give a little bit of bounce and gaps in between the MIDI arrangement. Just to add a lot more bounce to the whole drum arrangement, I was finding an essence snare. This kind of arrangement actually gives a bit of tension and pull with the drum sequencing, and I think it's really important to understand. Again, from some of my presets, my bass presets in Vital, it's really about experimenting and finding the sound that cuts through within your melody. I really like that respace, so this is the fun part. Like, I like to have vocal samples, sampling them, chopping them up, and sort of like resampling them is really fun, adding a bit of textures to your melody. Kind of like pitch up or pitch down just to find the right pitch for the melody itself. Finally got one and I decided to chop it up, resampling it into the right tempo. It's important to find the right phrases from your vocal samples. Got it. Just finalizing some of the vocal sequencing. Getting a vibe right here. Instantly, the vocals became an instrument towards the whole melody, which is a technique that I use frequently in my tracks. For vocals, it's important to check if the vocals are tight on the melody, so it's good to clean up the MIDI. At this point, I just wanted the vocals to be a lot more haunting, so I added like a reverb, sort of like delay going on. So it's not that jarring towards the whole melody, at the same time giving a bit of mood towards the whole track. And finally, this is what I got within a span of 2 hours.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, hit that post notification bell button, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.